Warframe is now available on iOS, so if you have access to devices that can use that, this update now enables that for everyone. We'll be getting into details in this video, going over firstly this major update itself and the patch notes that have come with it. I'm the Engineer, let's solve a practical problem. In terms of Warframe being available on iOS itself, that's pretty self-explanatory, but if you'd like a little bit more guidance on that, there have been an FAQ put out, which gives you the details on how to get going on that. This is just for iOS at the moment, not yet for Android devices. So if you have any of these iPads, from iPad 8th generation all the way up to iPad Pro 6th generation, or if you have any of these iPhones, from the iPhone XS all the way up to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, then you will be able to play Warframe on your mobile device now. But alongside that, there have been a number of changes which are worth talking about in the game itself. I won't be going over every single line, just the really notable ones, the ones which actually make a difference to typical gameplay. To get started with that, there have been some improvements to quests, including they've added Kuva to the Explore Lure mission rewards for the Sacrifice quest. As I've said here, this means you don't need to go off and get some Kuva, just continue the quest, as you'll get the Kuva required to build Excalibur Umbra straight away. It's little changes like these designed to make the whole flow of quests in Warframe a better flow overall. That said, I'm not sure about the changes in levels on the board Hexgallion stage. Apparently a reduction of levels from 5 to 8 to 4 to 5 was warranted. I had a look. For a Lancer, coming down from level 8 to level 5, their hit points do come down by about a third, but at the same time we're still talking hundreds of effective hit points. Much more important are the changes to the Solaris. So with the Fortuna rank up costs, they have been massively reduced. As we can see all the way through here, all of the debt bonds at every level have been brought down significantly. For the medical debt bonds, the total to get to rank 5 has come down from 35 to 11. Advanced debt bonds have come down from 25 to 10, and familial debt bonds, right at the end here, have been reduced from 10 to just 5. In combination with Ticker's offerings, this is a roughly 3-fold reduction in the bounties required for you to progress all the way to maximum rank, which is absolutely huge. So it's great to have that. Once you've completed with Fortuna themselves, you can move on to Vox Solaris, and this too has seen a major reduction. All of the toroids to rank up from rank 2 to rank 5 have been reduced down to 1, so only a single drop is all you need to make that progress. On top of that, all of the systems have been reduced to 1, or in the case of rank 5, just removed entirely. Now that on its own is useful, except they drop in pretty much these quantities. The biggest change on that is that all of the systems are now available from the appropriate rank to get you to the next one. So with the Gyromag systems, the Atmo systems, and the Repeller systems, that last one you could already do, all 3 of these can now be purchased with standing, so you don't need to rely on the drop from the bounties. Looking at further changes, there is an introduction of a new aura mod. This aura mod becomes available to players, they say, on completing the Earth junction. Earth doesn't actually have a junction, instead it's got 2 junctions leading away from it. The point is, it's available from completing the Venus junction. So on moving to the first planet after the starting planet, that is when you get access to Dreamer's Bond. For pretty much everyone watching this video, you've already completed that, you'll have it in your inbox. This aura mod gives you half the benefit of rejuvenation and half the benefit of energy siphon, granting 0.3 energy per second and 1.5 health per second. The design here is pretty clear to not only give new players an aura mod that they can use on any starting Warframe without an issue, also it grants them both energy and health regen, whereas normally for new players that just doesn't exist. A special note about this aura is that in the next major update with Dante Unbound, it will be changed to have a universal polarity. By my understanding, that means it should match with every single polarity on any Warframe that has one on their aura slot. So every Warframe will be able to use it with equal effect, which is a nice touch. Moving beyond the new player adjustments, there have been a couple additions to the stores. Firstly, to the market, or cash shop, however you want to phrase it, there is a new starter weapon pack, granting a max rank Aeolak, a max rank Serration, and 100 platinum. If we have a look at the buy platinum page, we can see that the pack comes in, at least in the UK, at $3.99, which is the same price as the 75 platinum pack. I imagine that relationship is going to be the same for most people, whichever country you're in. But with the more info on that, the Aeolak at max rank, you can compare that to the Warframe market prices if you were to buy the set from players, and that tracks at around 160 to 180 platinum. Likewise, there is also the max rank Serration, which if you were to buy from other players, tracks at roughly around 50 platinum. The prices vary here or there, but that gives you an idea as to the kind of values players are putting on those items. All told then, this pack here, with the platinum included, comes to a rough value of 320 platinums worth, closer to this third pack up here. It depends on where you are in the game and how you value the money and the platinum, but that's still at least a reasonable offer. The other new store item added are the new Somachords songs, available through Varzia. All of these can be purchased for 5 Aya apiece. That's 5 normal Aya, not Regal Aya, so there's no actual money required. If you open up the market, head to the menu, and go to Prime Resurgence, you'll be able to purchase it directly without having to visit Maru's Bazaar. As with any good set of patch notes, beyond the introductions of new things, we have all of the fixes and changes. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not going to go through these line by line. Instead, let's focus on the more notable changes. Scrolling past all the cross-save stuff, all of those are minor details. We have some more notable ones alongside here. For example, if you've done the Alchemy bounties in Albrecht's labs, you may have had some difficulty in throwing the amphors at the enemies. As it turns out, it was only counting it on a direct hit. Now it counts it if you also catch them in the AoE, which makes it a lot easier to complete. I certainly know that when I tried it, there was a little bit of difficulty actually landing that strike. Likewise, if you're doing the Effervo assassination mission with less than a full squad, you'll now be given more time to pick up the eyes before they vanish. A strange bug that a lot of people notice is that the Netracell keyglyphs, when you were trying to pick them up at the console, would sometimes hand it to a different player. That has now been fixed, so you'll only pick up the Netracell keyglyph if you are the one to actually choose it, not if you just happen to be next to someone. Further grade changes: if you're flying around Uviri, you may have noticed before now that you're thrown off of your cave and otherwise dragged into doing the Void Mirror puzzle if you came close to it. Now, if you're on a cave, the Void Mirror puzzle won't activate and instead tell you to get off your cave first. Riven drops have been rebalanced. Adjusted Riven type drop rates in sorties, Arcane Hunt, Steel Path Circuit, basically anywhere you can get a Riven, all of them have been adjusted to now consider how many weapons of that type are actually available. As a result of this, Kit Gun and Zor Rivens are now much rarer, whilst melee Rivens, pistol Rivens, rifle Rivens, those are the ones you should be getting far more commonly. The biggest thing this means is that the Kit Gun and Zor Veiled Riven prices are likely to climb back up a bit over time. It's not going to happen immediately, and it's not going to be incredible, as there's no new Kit Guns or Zors, but still, we'll see the prices of those climb up, and likewise, you'll be receiving fewer of them by random chance anyway. Thrax have been improved, specifically where they can change into a spectral form. Previously, whilst they became status immune, they didn't cleanse any status already acting on them, which means if you'd hit them with cold procs, they would very slowly go through their animation. This has been fixed now. The spectral form will go through a much quicker animation, or at least the animation it's supposed to go through. Further down, Kullevo's Wrathful Advance now actually activates Tennokai. Previously, if you were using that and accidentally teleported onto an enemy whilst your Tennokai was available, you wouldn't use the Tennokai and instead lose your combo, so it's great to have that no longer be an issue. If you've been struggling with the ult fire on your secondary weapons or incarnate mode not activating whilst using a glaive, that's been fixed. Melee Influence has been nerfed, or at least put back into line. Melee Influence should no longer apply when using Warframe abilities with clones, such as using it with Mirage, and likewise it'll no longer apply when using the dual Ichor's Incarnate Toxin fields. Neither of these were direct melee hits by yourself, they aren't supposed to be triggering Melee Influence, and now D have come in and swung the nerf bat at that. If this is all news to you, interactions that you were unaware actually existed, that's understandable. I didn't cover them myself on this channel. I didn't feel it necessary to go through something that was about to vanish anyway. By the same token, both primary and melee arcanes, all of them, should no longer be triggered by secondary weapons whilst you're on a K-Drive or Merulina. Fans of your AD will know that as much as she may be a powerful Warframe, she is also full of quite a number of bugs here or there. Combination that evaded me entirely, there was a bug with Trinity's Well of Life that was allowing you to one-shot thumpers in the plains of Eidolon. I would never have considered using Well of Life to one-shot anything, let alone a thumper. That has now been resolved. But perhaps the most saddening of all the changes we could find in this entire patch note, Orokin Eye and Kahl beacons now consume air support charges. Air support isn't exactly an expensive item to build, but it still means actually building them now. And the final patch of note that I wish to drag out of this entire long list of things further down here is on this section here, fixed players being unable to deploy extractors on Deimos if they haven't completed the Albrecht's laboratory nodes. Now you'll only need to complete the main Deimos nodes, not the ones which are locked behind one of the very last quests in the game, helpful considering that extractors are more of a new player item. I actually covered this myself over on Twitter, having come across the details from a new player on Reddit. By the way, did you know, I am also on Twitter, or do we call it X now? You know, I'm really not sure if we're supposed to be calling it Twitter or X, they still call it Twitter in the URL. In any case, you can catch me over on Twitter, but that is all on these patch notes. There's a lot of other details in there if you wish to dig into the minutiae, but that's all from me. So as always, patch up, rank up, and fight well, Tenno.